All right, 5-0. Nice and easy. Honestly, if Little Cup was around for longer, I could probably hit Legend in Little Cup. Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to cover a cup that I know some people don't particularly love and some people really love, and it's going to be Little Cup, particularly Little Galar Cup in this specific rotation. Like some other past Little Cups like Little Catch Cup, certain things that aren't usually allowed in Little Cup formats are allowed, such as Shuckle and other things that don't have like multi-stage evolutions, where typically Little Cup requires it to be the pre-evolution. But in this specific cup, you can pretty much use anything that's under 500 CP. And I gotta say, if you have the resources, these Little Cups are the best way to climb, because you're completely outclassing your opponents in your teams. There's literally nothing they could do sometimes, because the power difference of something like a Shuckle and Bronzor in Little Cup is so great between that and certain other things that are eligible. In fact, so great over the vast majority of things that are eligible in the cup, that anyone that doesn't have the right resources cannot do anything against you. If you don't have the resources, there's still a video worth watching, because now you'll know why you're saving all your Shuckles to trade with people to get the guaranteed XLs and start building your own Shuckle if you want to. Because let me tell you, this format, if you have the right resources, is a straight cheat code on winning. And I'm going to show you 3 back-to-back sets. The team I decided to run was a Best Buddy Shuckle with a Bronzor and a Barboach. Non-Shadow Barboach. I think Shadow sims better on PvP Poke, but I just don't have one to use. And of course, there's no other reason to not Best Buddy Shuckle if you can, because nothing else really needs Best Buddy. Let's get into the battles. Hopefully, it'll help illustrate why you yourself should make these Pokemon for a future cup. Before we get into the battles, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you'd like private one-on-one coaching, scrims against me, some of my lead guides and strategies ahead of time, or even tune into my live stream battles, feel free to sign up through the Patreon link down below. Shuckle, I gotta say, is probably absolutely disgusting in terms of its bulk and what it can do. So right here, I'm actually catching the Stone Edge, but after a lot more battles running this team, and just in general, my experience in Little Galar Cup, I found that it's actually better just to stay in the lead. And you always want to look at the CP of the posting Shuckle, but because mine's Best Buddy and it's 100%, it's fully maxed out. At worst, I lose Charge Deck priority on a coin flip, but at best, I'll probably win Switch because I have a higher CP Shuckle. And here comes the Wobbuffet. Actually, it's going to be a Charm Wobbuffet. And you'll see from these matches why Shuckle is so strong. Literally nothing does anything to it. Like, even super effective moves don't even do that much to it. Of course, it doesn't beat everything, such as Bronzor is actually a pretty bad matchup. But overall, anything that's not a true Shuckle counter, Shuckle completely destroys. You know, I know some people don't like Bastion in Great League, but Shuckle in Little Cup is actually even more oppressive than Bastion by 10, 20-fold, maybe even 100-fold, depending on what you're looking at. So at this point, I realized that my Barboach is pretty safe, so I can just safely swap to it. One other big strategy of Little Cup, if you haven't seen any of my previous Little Cup videos, is that you want to try to keep as many Pokemon alive as possible. Don't even worry about Switch Advantage. Yes, obviously Switch Advantage is important to a degree, right? You don't want the Barboach on a Grass type. You don't want your, Bronzor on a Dark type. But especially with the 50-second timers now, it's actually much easier to weave in and out of battles. And you can see here, again, I'm just trying to preserve as many as I can. At this point, what's the Mana Buzz even going to do, right? I don't think the Mana Buzz can even snarl me down. And they shield, but they can't even snarl me down. So 3 balls, I still have a shield left, right? Again, this is a great example of how if you don't have the resources, you can't hang in Little Cup, unfortunately. There's a few Pokemon in Little Galar Cup that I noticed have some solid ability to kind of do well. As you can see here, like, what is this? Like, it's just absolutely absurd, right? How dominant of a matchup Shuckle is in a lot of these, right? Like, just all these neutral matchups, can't do anything. That was a super effective power gem. It didn't even look like it, right? Neutral moves in certain other leagues like Great League, Ultra League, and Master League do more damage percentage-wise than that super effective move. And Power Gem was buffed this season. That's from a Shadow Sableye. It's absolutely wild. Anyway, of course, you don't have to run this specific team. I think Shuckle and Bronzor are really strong in this meta. I think the third Pokemon could be a bunch of other things. And obviously, I've lost a few that aren't running those exact two, but they are very, very strong for specific reasons. And you can see here, I have my footage actually sped up really fast. It's like 250% speed, because if I show you the full regular length or even 200 times speed, it's just we're gonna be here all day. These battles take actually really long if both sides have like XL Pokemon. That being said, I have the Bronzor because my team's kind of weak to Bronzor in general, right? I have a mirror matchup, I have a losing matchup with Shuckle, so I kind of need this Barboach. And even these matchups, you have to shield the potential payback, because it just is way too much, right? So even in a matchup that Bronzor technically should be losing, you're still able to grab shields. Like, look at this. It's kind of ridiculous. At this point, though, I'm going to just shield as well, because I already have some extra energy here. And again, if you could preserve your Pokemon, do it, right? It's definitely worth it. And here comes a Dino, which is going to take actually a decent amount of damage from Stone Edge. And then now have the Rock Blast. But yeah, I avoid it on my Bronzor for now. Even if it takes this out, Bronzor could pretty much just tackle and heavy slam this down. You know, there's just not much you could do. And again, I'm just weaving in and out of matchups here. I was debuffed as well, so I didn't really want to be in that matchup any longer than I have to. At this point, I think I just don't want to show my third Pokemon, but like, it really doesn't matter. There's no way this Wynaut beats the Bronzor. I don't even know if it beats the Shuckle. But yeah, this is one of those cups where I will say, if you really want to climb, my general assessment of this meta is that if you're struggling to climb in certain situations, in certain leagues, certain elo, if you have the right resources for a little cup, you'll be able to climb more than any other meta if you've ever experienced. Because as long as you have the right resources, because you're going to just win a ton of matches where it doesn't even take too much skill. Obviously, you can't just like autopilot and just like fall asleep at the wheel, but you have to do something, right? As you can see, I'm still playing around some like stuff like this, but you'll be able to win a lot more games than you could in any other league, just because you out-resource your opponents. And I don't think there's a lot of players that are spending the resources to make these things. Obviously, there's a lot more these days, right? Because as time goes on, more people are gonna have Bronzor and Shuckle for a little cup, but you know, the sooner you make your stuff, the faster you get to just dominate a bunch of people in little cup formats. So yeah, some people don't like it for that reason, because they don't have the resources for it and they can't compete, but it is what it is. I don't think I've seen a discrepancy this big in terms of a meta and the lack of resources for that meta impacting you this negatively if you don't have the right Pokemon. The last time I've seen something this severe was probably, I want to say probably like when XLs first dropped, right? Where some people didn't have fully maxed out legendaries or XL level 50 Ultra League Pokemon, stuff like that. You can see here, this is actually a really tough matchup for me, but again, you just muscle through. I'm taking super effective Metal Claws, you know, and we're still able to take the win there. Again, my recommendation is in this Shuckle mirror match. You want to stay in. You can see the CP difference too. Mine is higher CP, so like, I'm supposed to win this matchup anyway. And something I noticed is that if I safe swap my Bronzor, it puts me in a much harder position than I need to, right? Sometimes the alignment's much better for me. So you can see, actually, this Whooper's actually running Dig, which is kind of nuts to me. But yeah, they're going to double shield, and that's fine. I end up catching a move on my Barboach. Ends up being Dig, which is not ideal. Oh, they're running Water Gun. That's why. Okay, yeah. Yeah, Water Gun Whipper. And able to take it out, but now they have their own Bronzor. It's kind of weird, right? I have a shield advantage. I have a slight energy advantage, but these paybacks are the tackle plus just their tackles alone is really starting to add up, and I'm slowly getting into a territory where I'm quite uncomfortable. They also baited me with Psyshock, which is actually quite bad. They go for the combo play with Stone Edge, and I go for this Heavy Slam. I'm hoping that, I think my hope here is that they don't have Heavy Slam, because they showed Psyshock. So if they just have Payback and Tackle, is actually not that bad for my Shuckle. But let's see. We haven't seen their second move yet. Okay, so they do have Payback. So you can see Payback doing very, very little. And these are just resisted tackles, I think, right? But yeah, it's actually kind of adding up. Shuckle does so little damage, so my resisted rock throws are just not doing enough. So unfortunately, we are going to take our first loss here. But again, 4-1 this sets. We end up losing to an opposing Bronzor, Shuckle, Mudboy comp. So team itself is fine. I think I probably could have won that too if I just stayed in the lead. But it is definitely trickier too. Whichever Mudboy has more energy in the end probably wins that. But again, that's against someone that legit, has the resources, right? For someone that doesn't, it's a whole different story. We face a Shadow Whiscash, which is a little bit more frail in Little Cup, so you can safely just bait it with Heavy Slam and just throw Tackle at it. I also know they're not going to go Scald here, so you just have to shield right when they get the Mud Bomb. Obviously, this Mud Bomb is going to hurt. Let's see. I don't even go for the payback. I just go for the Heavy Slam. I figure they're probably going to shield, yeah. All right, and then we swap over to Bronzor and to Barboach. And again, switch advantage is not too bad, right? Not having switch advantage, I should say. It's better to just weave your Pokemon in and out. Of course, once in a while you might face like occasional Razor Leafer or Grass type in the back. So that's why I don't usually safe swap the Barboach. But yeah, in this situation, I'm just going to come in with my Shuckle. It's going to be super effective Heavy Slam, and we're going to see how little damage it does. Kind of wild. Whiscash comes back in too. This is also really bad for them because they're down. They're down in Pokemon. I know they don't have much on their Bronzor, and it's a Wynaut. So, it's not too bad. Obviously, we're not going to be able to take it out with just the Bronzor, but if I chip it enough, it should be in a good spot. Actually, this is running Charm. Yeah, so that's why it's taking a while. Oh my gosh, yeah, just look how little damage that does, right? I'm just going to throw this move because I didn't want them to, like, tackle me down. At this point, I do as much tackles as I can, and I swap. And again, this is the whole point here is just whittle down the timer as much as possible. I think I just win this matchup. But if it comes down to a tie, we'll win it. It might actually come down to a tie. I don't know. It's just not bulky. Wobbuffet is definitely bulky in Little Cup. So is Wynaut, but literally nothing as bulky as Shuckle. It's actually kind of insane. And we get the timeout win here. This is an interesting one. It's Rockstar Pikachu. And I honestly completely forgot what the moves it has. But I was just thinking it probably has something for Bronzor. Otherwise, why would they bring it? I don't know. I've never seen one decent battle, to my knowledge. Maybe once, if I'm forgetting, but I don't think so. So I have no idea what this is. I mean, obviously, you see Pikachu Libre from time to time. But I do recall that the Rockstar Pikachu and the other Pikachu, I forgot what it was. They both came out GoFest that 1 year together. But I think they had like some specific move. I just couldn't remember what it was. And we're going to find out real soon what that is. In the meantime, we go for a whole tackle down. Taking out Mudboy with Bronzor, just absolutely disgusting. Looks like they're running Confusion Bronzor themselves. Moveset choice is really important here. And I personally don't think Confusion's worth it because you just lose a Mirror. And like, what's the point, right? Because like at that point, oh, it's a Charm Pikachu. Yeah, so I was going for like this, trying to go for a move there. Unfortunately, couldn't get to it. But you can see, though, even the Charm Pikachu, and this one actually has Meteor Mash, so it is going to be very super effective against my Shuckle. But as you can see, just like most super effective attacks, it doesn't do enough. And again, like, it's just the neutral damage is so much, right? Like, the Rock Dose was just chonking away at that point. And here, I'm just going to throw my moves as soon as possible so that I could just take this out with a payback. I think I'm waiting for them to throw a move. This is kind of risky. Oh, they have Gyro Ball. Oh, I don't know. I guess I just didn't want to go combo play and catch a move. But we ended up taking it out. Of course, like I said, the mirror match, you just want to run Tackle, which is way better. This is Inkay running Psywave, which is actually quite annoying to look at because I have no idea, like, how much energy they have. But at the same time, too, like, it's probably more annoying for them because I could just throw whenever as a one-turn move. So no optimizing there. But again, Shuckle, hard winning this neutral matchup, right? I mean, it's actually starting to chunk away. Actually, this Inkay actually did quite well, all things considered. I don't even think it boosted. I think if it boosted, that would have been a little bit harder of a matchup. But this is, it's going to be Jangmo O. These are just neutral moves. But you're still forcing shields out here. And at this point, they're 2 shields down. I don't think Jangmo even has a dark move. So I'm feeling pretty good at this point. Yeah, just Dragon Claw. And yeah, this is just going to be over. And again, these are one of those teams where, like, I feel bad for the opponent, right? But, like, they just don't have the right resources to compete. There's just no way, right? You have an Inkay, which actually did okay, all things considered. You have a Jangmo, and you have a Charmander. It's just like, it just doesn't compete to the power levels of these XL little Pokemon, right? But again, these are just games that you just freely win. We're on set number 2. I don't think we've lost a game in this set yet, but we'll keep it going as well. Purrloin, obviously the Mud Boys are not as XL heavy. They can be. I can't remember if I've spent XLs in my Barboach. I know Wooper is actually quite the XL investment if you end up having a like a really high rank one. So honestly, a lot of these Pokemon do cost XLs, but I don't think Purrloin does. I haven't made one myself, but Purrloin is actually surprisingly quite solid based on my matchups with it. Yeah, so something worth considering if you don't have like maybe all the XL Pokemon needed. I think you need probably at least one XL Pokemon, but I think you could get away with like maybe a Bronzor, Purrloin, something. I don't know, Barboach, Mudboy. You could get away with probably a Shuckle, Purrloin, you know, Mudboy as well. That's all, and see a pretty solid team, I'd say. But yeah, I mean, Purrloin is just a surprising pick, especially with the Sucker Punch buff. I think it actually looks quite good. In these situations, again, I want to just preserve as many Pokemon alive as I can. So they swapped in. I'm going to throw this move. Now I swapped my Shuckle, and we just want to just keep on chipping them down, wearing down that switch timer as much as possible. Looks like we're actually on even Pokemon. So yeah, let's see what happens here. I do get to one final Stone Edge. I don't think I get to another move, but this should put it quite close. And yeah, force them to throw. That's not too bad. And I could probably just Mush-Out this down. Yeah, Mush-Out down Bronzor, and Mush-Out down the Shuckle. So definitely a close one. Again, these close matches are usually like they got Bronzor and Shuckle too. Like literally, that's like who I'm almost losing to. Right? I didn't even lose that game, but I could have. Right? It just goes to show that this meta is just so top heavy. Right? It is more top heavy than any meta I've ever seen. And again, like my last little cup video, if you don't have it now, start building the resources for the next time around. Because these games they're too easy. You know, I'm looking at my opponents. I'm like, what can you do? Nothing. You got double Razor Leaf, double Grass. You got a Confusion Bronzor. I mean, the Bronzor is definitely right. But you know, the Confusion I probably wouldn't recommend. But you know, it is what it is. They chose to run it. But yeah, I mean, at this point, what can they do? You know, these are all the battles I have in a row too. Like, I'm not editing anything. Like, this is just what my sets look like. I played this obviously earlier in GBO, as you can see from my rank. And the biggest issue I ran into was that there just was no one else queued up in Little Cup. It took way too long, so I just started playing some Ultra League this week instead. But I played a lot of these last week during the Great League rotation with Galar Cup. And you can see here, again, what are they going to do, right? We'll take a look and see how much payback actually does. Quite a bit, right? Which is why it's probably worth shielding when you can. Obviously, at this point, I was just kind of limit testing a little bit because I knew that there's no way I'd lose that. So we go 5-0 in the second set, 4-1 in the first one, 5-0 in the second one. These are just continuous sets. I'm not cutting anything out. And we'll go into our third and final set here. Again, this is not a good lead, but, you know, the contingency plan just swap out. And, of course, here we see the Purrloin. And the main thing is here is like you just want to like grab shields if you can. Just sets you up for a potential success down the road. But we'll see how it goes. The last Purrloin in this matchup, they boosted. So they were able to take me out with Sucker Punch. But this one didn't boost. I actually hit the 2 heavy slams without shielding. And I flip switch. Like, what is this? That's kind of crazy, right? Like, Purrloin is built to be a counter to Bronzor in this meta. I'm sure it beats a few other things here or there. But like, people bring Purrloin because Bronzor's in the meta. They can't counter swap a Purrloin and win switch advantage without spending 2 shields. That's actually wild, right? But again, that just illustrates how strong this team is. You know, and same thing with Barboach, right? I'm spending shields on Barboach all the time too. I end up catching a move here, which I don't know if it's good or not, but I think at this point I just need to try to outbulk. Again, this is a Shuckle counter, but you just outbulk your opponents at this point, right? I'm going to throw some moves here just to like grab a final shield maybe. Yeah, and they just have way too low health at this point. I'm just going to save my shields for my own Barboach at this point. Yeah, but again, bad lead. You safe swap. You find a bad matchup. Like, that's, you know, usually how GBL goes. You know, if your hard counter is you have a bad lead, you safe swap, they hard counter you, they win switch, maybe they give a 1 shield. They couldn't even do that, right? Like, that's just kind of how stupid this meta is. But it is what it is, you know. You'll see a lot of the same matchups, which is why like I'm not going to super high details on these because, again, you're just gonna win this, no matter what. But yeah, we're in a really good spot right now. Nothing Purrloin really has us threatening. Like Dark Pulse, yeah, it's nice, but honestly, it's better than Night Slash in my opinion because they can't boost. I probably should have gone Rock Blast there because there's almost no reason they wouldn't shield there, and honestly, the Rock Blast probably takes it out. But we just continue to further our lead, and again, they double shield, right? What can they do? And now they're stuck Bronzor into Barboach, down 2 shields, and my Bronzor still has energy. So it is what it is. Like I said, these games look easy, right? I'm telling you, if you just had access to my team to run it yourself, you can do it. I'm not even doing anything too fancy in these plays, right? I'm not doing a bunch of catches. I'm just switching out when I can, and then just saving shields for later or spending shields when I can, on stuff I need to really take out. But yeah, this is Say Swap Mudboy is actually quite a problem for this team. So you can see my best answer to Say Swap Mudboy is my Mudboy, which is kind of weird. So we're gonna have the shields, but maybe we'll get a second shield from them. They're going straight Mud Bomb, which makes me think that maybe they have like Body Slam. I don't know, because Mud Bombs are more expensive. But they end up giving Switch Advantage away. So I'd say probably a misplay. I don't know. Maybe they thought I was gonna get to move, so they panic swapped. But yeah, this one just kind of sets me up for victory here. Obviously, it doesn't matter who you are. You can make misplays. Obviously, this misplay makes this matchup a little bit easier for me. I think this particular match could have been hard. They're running Confusion too, so probably not. I don't know. But either way, it helps us quite a bit because now we just have the matchup we want. We have a better matchup as well because they're running Confusion and I'm running Payback. And Payback's going to win. Just because the tackle damage really adds up quite a bit, whereas double resist Confusion, yeah, I think it's double resist. It does like literally no damage, as you can see right here. Looks like I also generate energy, maybe a little faster tackle. I actually don't remember that for sure. I remember looking into it a while back, but I eventually just realized you just want to run tackle anyway, so I didn't really think too much of it. I would have thought the Confusion would generate energy faster, but maybe not. Either way. Again, we catch a good lead. It's not like a great lead, but Bronzor walls it off. But I just don't want this on the Barboach. As long as I take this out, should be in a good spot. They bring in the Barboach, or they bring in the Shuckle, so even better for me. I already know, I don't remember this game, but I already know my plan. My plan is I take this out. I bring in probably Bronzor or Shuckle. I probably bring in Shuckle back into the Cottonee. And then, yeah, they're running Gyro Ball in this, which is interesting. Probably better for the mirror match. I don't know. No, it doesn't make any sense it doesn't really make much sense in general because you want to throw Stone Edge in the mirror anyway. They're both super effective, so you get stab. Not really sure about that one. Maybe the person that I played against can comment. Okay, so I go for combo play instead, which I think is fine because now they either come in Cottonee and I just take it out, or they come in something like Bronzor and I still have the Barboach for it. So I'm in a good spot. Because then I'll have my Bronzor for their Cottonee. In fact, I will bait them into bringing the Cottonee. You can see my Barboach in the back is kind of low on health. So there's a chance that when I come in Barboach, they might throw a move and then swap to their Cottonee. And then they fall into my trap. Because then they have nowhere to go. They get farmed down a ton of energy and it becomes a much harder situation for them. Oh, they get the Charm down. So there's that. This actually looks kind of bad for me now. Honestly, if they didn't get the Charm down, I could have been in a better spot. But especially if I left for the move. Oh, they didn't shield. I do remember this match, actually. Ooh, do we win this? I don't know. This is kind of close. I think I do. I think what I remembered at this moment in time... Yeah, I think I did win that one. I didn't show the end screen, but I'm pretty sure I won that one. I think I remember at the time is that if they just shield their Cottonee, they win that because they have 2 Pokemon left. Or they have they'll have even more health on the Bronzor as well because the Charm damage, even though it's resisted, still might add up a little bit. I think that was just misplayed by the opponent. So theoretically, I should have lost that one. But again, they have super XL Pokemon as well themselves. So kind of happens like that. What did they have? They had a Shuckle and they had Shuckle and Bronzor too. They just had Cottonee. Honestly, it seems like the strategy is you bring Shuckle and Bronzor and you add a third, depending on what coverage you want, and then you can order the lineup depending on what you think makes sense. But yeah, that's the rundown of Little Galar Cup. I think that's the meta. Not even simplified. The meta is solved. I have no other feedback on it. There's just no other way you could win, I think. Have we lost to anyone that's not running Bronzor or Shuckle? I don't think so. I've only lost one so far. This is going to be our next loss, actually. Oh, I do remember this match. Okay. So Wynaut is also... Wobbuffet is definitely on the bulkier side, but this is actually not a good spot for me to be in. I can't recall what I should have done here. I think my play was I supposed to mud shot this down. I think. Was that the play I was supposed to go for? I think looking back on it, yeah. I think that was the play. I don't know. But just spoiler, I do lose this game. So we do end up losing to... We lost to 2 people in 3 sets. So went 13-2. And I end up losing the Bronzor Shuckle in 1. And then, yeah. I should have also got Mud Bomb there. They didn't shield. But honestly... Oh, that was super close too. Yeah, if I went for Mud Bomb, I'd just win that. But it was a really great call on their end to not shield the Mud Bomb baits. But yeah, there we go. We go 4-1 in the final set. In that last game, I probably could have won if I played it a little bit better here or there. This team, it's absolutely stupid easy to run. It's just also stupid expensive. So if you have the resources, definitely worth investing. You'll probably make your Stardust back really quick because, you know, you're probably going to win most of your games. If you don't have it, feel free to work on those Pokemon. Definitely Pokemon to like slowly grind if you like. And if it's not your cup of tea, then hey, I appreciate you sticking to the end because I'm not sure why you enjoyed 15 battles of a meta you probably hate, but maybe you're just a big fan and a supporter. So either way, I appreciate you. And yeah, best of luck in the rest of your climb. If you end up using this team yourself, let me know how it goes. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share, subscribe for future content, hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video. And I'll catch y'all next time. And also, here's my cat. All right, peace.